Okay. All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the January 24th, 23 Town Board meeting. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Supervisor Clayton.
Aye.
All right, we have Councilman Carini.
I am here.
Deputy Supervisor Goose.
Here.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye, I'm here.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Receiver of Taxes Janine Driscoll.
Here.
I'm now going to ask our town clerk to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Madam Clerk, would you please call the first public hearing?
Delighted. We have a proposed local law regarding regulations and restrictions to limit parking in Wantagh.
Okay, any member of the board want to be heard on item number one? I do not have any slips. Did anybody want to be heard on item number one that did not sign in? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed local law regarding parking or standing prohibitions in Hewlett.
Okay, any member of the board wish to be heard on this? Okay, I do not have any slips. Is anybody who wants to be heard on item number two that did not sign in? Okay, may I please have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed local law regarding arterial stops near Rockville Center.
Okay, any member of the board wish to be heard on this? I do have a slip on this one. I have Christine O'Reilly. Hey, how you doing? If you go to the back mic and you give your name and address. Okay, cool. Thank you. Elizabeth, can you get that? Sure. Hey, how you doing? If you just give me your name and address.
I'm Christine O'Reilly, 24 Yale Place, Rockville Center, New York.
Okay.
So I've been in contact with multiple people since October of 21 about getting a stop sign or a crossing guard put on Tanglewood Road and Lakeview Avenue on the main road. There's a crosswalk there for the high school kids. It's gotten nowhere. I travel from Rockville Center to Malvern every day to go to work, and nobody lets the kids cross. I almost saw a kid get hit by a school bus once because the school bus couldn't even see the crosswalk. Around the crosswalk are multiple auto body shops. So they park on the sidewalk, they park in the street, the tow trucks are there, regular cars are there. It's just a disaster waiting to happen. So I just saw all these stop signs.
That's on like the west side, right? The west side of Peninsula.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Yeah, it's like right near Malvern High School, the back end of Malvern.
Gotcha.
So I saw all these stop signs possibly getting put in on Tanglewood Road, but I didn't notice one on the corner of Lakeville Road.
Okay,
Lakeview Road, sorry.
Oh, would you sneak up on me from? Give your name and address for to identify yourself. There we go.
Tom Reed, representing Traffic Control Division.
Tom.
Lakeview Avenue is a county road.
Okay.
And the police department would have to do the survey to see if a crossing guard is warranted.
Okay, so obviously it's a county road, so we don't control that. But the local legislator would be?
Kavan Abrams.
Kavan Abrams. If you'd like, we can maybe facilitate a contact information with Kavan Abrams to have him or the county executive about looking at the road to see warranted stop sign. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, I've gone through numerous people, so I'd be happy to.
That's okay. Maybe right now you just go to the back and get all the information so we can follow up. You okay with that? So he's going to meet you in the back and we'll facilitate this, okay?
Excellent, thank you.
No problem. Thanks for coming. I don't have any other slips on item number 3. Is anybody who wishes to be heard that did not sign in? Okay, may I please have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
Supervisor Clavin.
Affirmative.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
And Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed local law regarding traffic regulations in the vicinity of schools in Oceanside.
Okay, a member of the board wish to be heard? I don't have any slips on item number 4. Anybody wants to talk on item number 4 didn't sign in? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed law, handicap parking on public streets in Elmont, Oceanside, and Roosevelt.
Okay, any member of the board wish to be heard? Okay, I do not have any slips. Anybody wants to be heard on item number 5? Did not sign in? If, okay, great. If you gave me name and address for the record, that'd be awesome.
Mita J. Meriday, I'm just concerned with regard to, I guess, the installation and maintenance of the handicap parking. I can't speak for the roads in Oceanside, but many of the town roads in locations like Elmont and Roosevelt, where I used to live, are in deplorable conditions. So I'm just trying to understand how this is going to be implemented. I know in some locations where you have handicap parking, there's also the blue lines for people to be able to better understand that that space is for handicap. But if the roads are torn up, in most cases, the lighting is bad on many of the town streets in those communities, what is being done to address the overall safety, not just providing potential parking? If they can't get to the parking spot, what good is it?
Ms. Meriday, this is in relation to the stop signs, these particular locations. If you have a question regarding those particular locations, you know, and I'm sure Mr. Reed could identify that with the installation at the request of a homeowner who is handicapped that wants it at their desired location.
Correct.
That's what's on the calendar right now.
I understand that.
Okay.
But you're still talking about handicap parking, which impacts the street, is it not?
No, it's in front of their home.
Which is on
On the street, yeah, but it's the
Yes.
request of the homeowner.
Okay, but it's still a question that's important for many of these residents who can't come to these meetings with regard to the condition of the road. So if you just have the sign there and they can't get to the road,
do you have a
what's the
particular road you're talking about?
I can get you roads, but I know that Delisle itself is in bad condition. Elmwood Avenue is in bad condition. So there are other roads.
Okay.
Prospect Street, Manhattan.
I know.
Roosevelt's a square mile, and the majority of their roads that are town roads are in bad shape.
Okay.
Baldwin
I'll
as well, where I
respectfully
live
disagree with you,
now.
But that's okay. But I do know our engineering commissioner is here. Where are you? Hi, Brian, how are you? If you would like to go in the back, he'll take the list of these roads and he can do a review of them.
Well, I didn't know I was going to be talking about roads at this particular juncture, so, you know, I can have a conversation with him at another time. I just want it on the record that these communities are being impacted by bad roads and poor lighting. So it's great that you're actually administering handicap parking for these residents, but they're still having trouble getting to the spot itself. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else wish to be heard on this item? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Okay. Madam Clerk, please call the item on the decision calendar.
Yes, we have one decision this evening. It's the application of 3195 Austin Boulevard, Owners LLC, for rezoning from Business X District to Residence CA District in Island Park.
Okay. Does any member of the board have a motion? Does anybody have a motion?
I move the application be denied.
Second the motion.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Okay. Madam Clerk, please call the administrative calendar.
Yes, we have items 7 through 54 on the administrative item.
Okay.
Calendar.
All right. Does any member of the board wish to speak on any of the items in the administrative calendar? Okay. Got a couple slips here. Mike Turry?
Thank you very much.
How you doing? If you just give your name and address to the record. Thank you.
Michael Torrey, 23 Indiana Avenue, Long Beach. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, and other board members for your time. So I see that this resolution number 54 includes a redistricting hearing on February 7th at 10:30 in the morning. Are there any plans to have another hearing in the evening when more town residents would be available.
Mr. Supervisor, there are plans to have another hearing after that. We haven't identified the date yet. It will be probably the week of the 13th.
Okay, and will a message about when that is scheduled be put up on the town website? And more importantly, would there be an email sent to town residents to inform them about it? I actually received a copy of an email about the rescheduling of the work session. That was the first time I'd ever seen an email go out associated with redistricting, and I was hoping that maybe an email like that could be made available for the meeting that becomes scheduled.
Taking our advisement, the last meeting, a number of residents, and apparently we were unaware that the county was having a meeting at the same time, and there was a recommendation to move the last meeting to after the residents brought it to attention. Oh, taking our advisement, we will.
There was a
Absolutely.
countywide redistricting meeting at the same time, so it was reasonable to move the meeting.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. They brought it to attention, so we were glad to accommodate it. So like I said, we'll take it our advisement and we'll see what we can do.
Okay, thank you. And I guess my other question is, what did you think of the recommendation that was made by the Temporary Redistricting Council on Thursday of last week in the afternoon?
Quite frankly, the council didn't make any recommendation. The redistricting board took into account numerous comments by the public over the course of the 4 hearings that we had, and they did not recommend that the town board adopt the map. They listed specifically, and almost all of them were the recommendations of the people that came to the hearing to the town board to consider. So I believe the town board in the next couple of weeks, after listening to the residents, will consider those things and make an educated and proper decision.
I appreciate your answering that, but I was asking the town board members what they thought of the recommendation.
Like I said, I think the town attorney answered it appropriately and in conjunction of how the board is hearing it, and I think that was very respectful of the process and how the procedure is. So.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Supervisor.
No problem at all. Thanks for coming.
You got it.
Next, I have Felix Bercacci. If you could give your name and address for the record, thank you.
Felix Bercacci, Franklin Square. On number 18, the cemetery fees, do these fees cover the entire cost, or is additional tax dollars used to subsidize the cemetery, items that are in this resolution?
Supervisor, thank you. Craig Malo, Deputy Commissioner, Department of General Services. The fee structure that's in front of you, I can't say covers the full budget of the town of Hampstead. The cemetery covers about 97% of the cemetery cost. It will cover 100% of internment costs for anybody that does come in. I'll point out that the cost of an interment today is $3,800. The cost of an interment tomorrow would be $3,900. There's significant savings in here for the residents, eliminating the fees for veterans markers, foundations. There's credits in here for people who are veterans, first responders, and so forth. So a large majority of the customers that we see will actually get a reduction in the next year or so.
Thank you.
I think the fees should cover the cost of the cemetery. Items number 30, 32, and 36 each they reference additional documents, records, and those aren't provided. I can't find them. Are they there?
Which ones again, Mr. Bercacci?
Well, Mr.
30, 32, and 36.
With regard to 32, that settlement, actually, we got the final paperwork on it, I believe, yesterday. So it was put on the calendar. It involved a person. The supervisor is instructed to be more proactive in resolving matters and not having to spend too much time and money on legal fees and litigation. So this gentleman brought a claim to us. He was working out of title at the animal shelter, and after we reviewed it, we found that it was valid. So it was settled, and basically it was settled for no money. All we did with regard to Mr. Minto is we put him in the proper category. He got a small raise as a result of him going from one position to another. And I guess there's some people that know Mr. Minto from the animal shelter, so I think we probably did the right thing.
I'm not questioning any of the right thing or wrong thing, but number 30 and 36 also don't have the additional items. By state law, you're required to put this. I'm not sure how the town board is going to vote on something they can't see. If I can't see it, I don't know if they can see it. How are they going to vote on something that they can't see? And I don't think it's appropriate for them to vote on something they can't see. So will you provide the data for 30 and 36 and 32?
Absolutely. With regard to 36, that's an EAC, basically an EAC contract that the town has had for a number of years, and we're just renewing the contract.
In the future, it would be great if you could put it on the calendar within 24 hours in accordance with the open meetings law. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Picacci. Next, I have Lori Tandy. Okay. Next, I have Emil Vereni. Hey, how you doing? If you give your name and address for the record, thanks.
Emil Verani, 65 Edgeworth Street, Valley Stream. I just want to follow up on the redistricting item number 54. So you said, specifically to the town attorney, you said that the town took into account the input of residents, but when are we going to see the proposed maps to see that?
That'll be formulated, and I suspect that within a very short period of time, after consulting with the town board, we'll be able to publish a map well in advance of the hearing.
Okay, is there like a state law that says how many days? Is it 7 days?
Well, actually, the John Lewis Act, which a lot of people refer to, doesn't go into effect until the middle of this year. However, we're trying to comply with all the terms because we thought that the state was giving us a guideline, and that specifically says 7 days. So I suspect that we'll meet that hurdle.
Okay, and at these work meetings that you're talking about, will the map makers be there?
I don't think that's been decided yet, but there'll be responses, whether it be from me or someone else.
But, you know, like you said at one of the redistricting hearings that this is a work in progress. So, I mean, shouldn't you plan on the map makers being there? There's an awful lot of money being put for these map makers to put together a map.
I have to be honest with you, just reviewing the town's record for 10 years ago, no map maker showed and testified, and that map was legally challenged and found to be okay. So we're going to comply with the law. There's no requirement that the map maker be there. Quite frankly, as I said before to the last gentleman, the public made some comments. The commission agreed with most of the comments. Now it's up to the town board to make a decision. I don't think that they'll deliberate and we'll do it a legally sufficient way.
Okay, because I can't speak for what happened 10 years ago, but there are a lot of people who were very concerned with the maps, and I'm not sure, you know, there were 2 hearings before the maps went out, and it seemed like the public input for those maps wasn't really put in. So I think, like, knowing what's going on in their head is something that's valuable. I mean, is it not?
Well, I have to be honest with you. Mr. Supervisor, I want to thank you for what's been going on as far as the communications department, because one of your themes and other people's themes is that we haven't let the general public know what's going on. And quite frankly, if you were at our last meeting, you know this room was almost completely full.
And you haven't.
And I then went a couple of days later to the county's meeting. And the county's been meeting a lot longer than us.
Yeah.
And for those, and there are some people who are there that were at that meeting with me, know that there weren't many people at the county. So I have to tell you, as far as I'm concerned, if we compare ourselves to the county, the people in the town of Hempstead know what's going on, and they've been coming out and voicing their concerns.
Yeah, but you're saying it's put a proper notice in. You didn't spend any money on mailers like you did to promote a congressional candidate on redistricting. You didn't put it on social media. So how could you say that's well noticed? You know, you're criticizing residents for saying that's something that's completely valid. It wasn't even on social media.
I'm not criticizing anybody. I'm telling you that we're doing a good job.
Well, you were criticizing at the meetings. You were criticizing.
People coming to our meetings.
Okay.
I know what's going on and they're coming out.
Okay. Well, I would just hope, as a comment to be taken under advisement that the map makers come. I think it's awfully important. I think what we've seen from these hearings is that the residents are very concerned about the maps and the impact that they'll have for the next 10 years. And I think the least that the town can do is make sure that they can come, and I'm sure it can be arranged to be put on Zoom. I mean, these meetings are live streamed, so I'm sure there's good internet here. They can come via Zoom. I think that's something that's awfully important. And we have much better internet compared to 10 years ago. I just want to note that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, I know you didn't hear your name before, so I'm gonna go back. Lori Tandy.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing? If you just give me an name and address for the record.
Lori Tan, Clubhouse Road in Merrick. Okay, I'm here about the open space that we have on Clubhouse and John Street, that since the pandemic, the whole neighborhood has had a place to go and meet and get together for half hour, sometimes an hour, and we bring our dogs.
Ms. Tandy, right now we're doing the administrative calendar. We have a public comment after. Do you have something on the administrative calendar in particular?
No,
We're going to do it. We'll do it. Well, in fact, I'll tell you right now. But I'll make sure I put number 1 there, and we'll call you first. Okay? All right. Next, I have Claudia Barecki.
Claudia Barecki, 28 Washington Drive, Merrick, president of the Belmont Merrick Democratic Club. According to the legal dictionary, the word must refers to a mandatory requirement, imposes a duty or grants a right which is mandatory or imperative. The legal community strongly prefers using the word must as the clearest way to express a requirement or obligation. Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act requires, quote, that if there is racially polarized voting and if a minority opportunity district can be drawn, then it must be drawn. 3 maps provided by the Elmont Cultural Center and 2 maps provided by attorney Fred Brewington, the Legal Defense Fund, and others all show that 3 majority-minority districts can be drawn. So the town of Hempstead has no alternative. 3 majority-minority districts must be drawn, according to the law. Even though hundreds of your constituents pleaded with the Redistricting Commission not to dilute their voices by putting minority communities with districts that it has nothing in common, the Commission ignored their requests and motioned that the Commission only consider population variation and keeping communities whole. No mention was made to consider the mandate that if a majority-minority district can be drawn, then it must be drawn. Violation is established if a political subdivision creates districts wherein, quote, the ability of members of the protected class to elect candidates of their choice or to influence the outcome of elections is impaired. Placing Elmont in a district with Garden City clearly violates that mandate. The 2020 census shows that 47% of the town of Hempstead is people of color. The data shows that 3 majority-minority districts must be drawn. With Proud Boys marching down our streets and racist remarks from some of our neighbors hitting national news, it's more important than ever that the town of Hempstead show the world that its leaders are not racists. There's only one way to prove it. Don't approve maps that violate the Voting Rights Act. Avoid unnecessarily burdening your constituents with millions of dollars, tax dollars, in a court battle that will only wind up with maps submitted by the Elmont Cultural Center or the Legal Defense Fund anyway. That's what the results from the 2023 census warrants. We're counting on you to do the right thing. The town of Hempstead must do what it must. Approve the maps that create 3 majority-minority districts. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Ms. Barecki.
I also have a letter I'm going to hand.
You could submit a letter, absolutely. Next, I have Mita Meriday. Bless you. Go ahead. Name and address, please. Thanks.
Rita J. Meriday, Town of Hempstead resident. My questions initially start with item 13, 34, 41, and 43. Just want to know if there's any diverse suppliers being utilized for any of those contracts. Since the Town of Hempstead, and we can dance around the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, but we have state mandates that require a certain percentage as far as inclusion of service-disabled veterans and minority and women businesses, and I just can't seem to fathom why we continue in this.
Hi, Ms. Meriday. Brian Kunzig, Commissioner of Engineering.
Okay.
Contracts 41 and 43, items 41 and 43, they were publicly bid, and we don't have any requirement on how that contractor supplies workers except for that they're from Nassau or Suffolk. We don't have a minority or women requirement.
Okay. What about the contractor themselves? If you're receiving federal and state funding, there is no federal with regard to. There's no federal, no state funding?
No.
Okay. You're receiving tax dollars for that. Taxpayers work for federal and state government. But I digress. 13 and 14, 13 and 34.
Okay.
And can somebody answer my question, or my clock is going, it's ticking
Ms.
like 10
Meriday,
seconds away?
Mr. Lombardi's walking up to the mic right now.
Okay. Hi there. Good to see you too.
Dominic Longobardi, Deputy Town Controller. On those contracts, we do not have any requirements as well for minority or business women or business
Or service-disabled veterans.
or service-disabled veterans.
Isn't that interesting?
We do have a very good program for service-disabled veterans.
Okay, but we need more than programs. We
They're
need
not
actual contracts to create jobs. But this is a township that seems to be inside of the United States that doesn't seem to have any kind of diversity platform, but I digress. Items 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, let's say 21 to 29, it mentions sponsorships for the calendars. Does that sponsorship include production as well as printing and mailing costs? Are we going to have any other potential candidates listed on that right before any election that's going to be beneficial for them to get votes?
Again, Ms. Meriday, those are sponsorships for our calendar that goes to every resident in the town of Hempstead. There is no specific expenses that goes to other than to cover the cost for the whole calendar itself. So printing and anything else that we can cover the costs on, we do.
So that means we are the we.
No, well,
Taxpayers
again,
are the we.
the town of Hempstead, yes.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Item 30, when it says ratifying, confirming an agreement, I'm just curious as to what was the selection process for this particular company, and is there any type of familial relationship?
Okay. Again, in this case, there is no relationship. This is a very local company, and everybody is well aware of who they are. Cablevision is one of the biggest companies around on Long Island to do this and provide that service to us. So.
Okay. Now, lastly, with regard to, well, actually 18, someone mentioned a modified schedule as far as the credits and fees, and it incorporated a discussion about the veterans. I just need a little more information on that and the particulars. How do veteran families actually know about this and can avail themselves of this? And my clock is just a ticking while people are moving forward. Okay, it was ticking 3 seconds. 10. I know I'm watching it.
Okay, I didn't want to misrepresent.
Eyesight is very good.
Okay.
20.
Yes, hold on.
All right.
If you identify yourself.
Greg Malo, Deputy Commissioner, Department of General Services. So there are two programs in here that are a benefit to veterans. One is we're removing the fee to install the federally provided grave marker for veterans. The federal government provides it for free, and I think the town of Hempstead is going to provide it for free going forward for the installation purposes of it. That will get known to the homeowner or the family at the time they fill the application out with the federal government. That's a process that they do with the federal government. The interment credit is a new program, and I'll leave it to the supervisor and the town board how best to share that information with the public, but we make it known to all our funeral homes and all our clients that it will be out there as soon as it gets adopted.
And
how long
it's still
is that?
significantly less than in a private facility, correct?
Well, the cost of an interment is, $3,900 compared to other cemeteries on Long Island, upwards of $12,000 to $18,000. So we have not raised the price of the plots themselves, just the cost of the interments, which require the equipment and necessary safety features.
And there was an interment fee that was not being provided to the veterans in the town of Hempstead, which doesn't seem to be a part of the United States since they don't apply federal mandates.
No, the fee for interments was a flat fee for everyone.
Right.
This will provide veterans and first responders and active military personnel a $500 credit on that interment. So it will reduce the cost of the interment by $500.
I see. Thank you. And we will get more information about that at some point in time. I guess that's on to the town. Okay, lastly, item 54. I believe the town attorney made a statement that I think was a little incorrect with regard to the county process, and I did make the town board aware myself that there was a conflict with the meeting, with the 10:30 meeting, the 11 o'clock meeting, and check the record with regard to that. So I want to be clear about that. The majority of those county meetings were well attended, but we still need to make sure the residents are informed. And they were not informed because of efforts from the town of Hempstead. They were informed by efforts of the residents. Lastly, the Baldwin in particular, we'd like to know who is our third representative on the third map?
Thank you,
On the current map, if I can get an answer to that question, because I had other seconds that were being ticked away on the clock. I'd like to know the answer to that question,
Thank you, Ms.
Supervisor
Merida.
Clavin.
Thank you very much, as
So you
always.
don't
And
have
I do want to
anybody
let
that
it be
you're
known
putting in?
that there were a number of residents at the last meeting that were nice enough to bring our attention to the county hearing. It was, so it wasn't just one person, it was a number of residents that expressed it.
I said I was one, and I still
Yeah,
want the
I
answer
understand,
to my
but next I have a
question
slip
with regard
from
to the lack of
Daniel.
representation that we have in
Thank you, Ms. Merida. Thank you so much, as always.
Can I have an answer to
No,
the question?
Ms. Merida, thank you so much.
You're not going to answer the question.
Ms. Merida, thank you. Daniel Caracciolo?
Not going to answer
Thank
the
you.
question.
Okay.
Maybe you have to wait.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Merida. Thank you. All right. Okay. Hi, Mr. Caracciolo, if you give your name and address for the record, thanks.
What's your question? Okay, my name's Daniel Caracciolo, 8 Williamson Street, East Rockaway, the great village of East Rockaway. I'm also here to speak on number 54. Who is the current representative for D'Esposito? I guess is our first question, or is there any kind of work on that? That's kind of what Ms. Merida was asking for here. I'm not sure if you feel like answering that.
No, Councilman D'Esposito, as you know, successfully was elected to U.S. Congress. We're very, very fortunate to have a local congressman to help lobby. And right now there's a vacancy in that position.
Okay, is there, maybe that's for another time. Gerrymandering allows politicians to choose which voters listen to and who to ignore. No matter our background, our zip code, our political party, voters deserve the right to pick their leaders. Politicians should not get to pick their leaders. We've had a lot of appointments in this town over and over again where incumbents all of a sudden, like D'Esposito's position, will now be an incumbent when we run for a special election in November. I'd like to make a recommendation that the town board consider creating, going forward, an independent, fully transparent redistricting committee that is nonpartisan and not even related to the board or the town of Hempstead. You would put forth actual people, actual voters that need to be here on a regular basis. They would come and actually be on this redistricting committee that adhere to strict guidelines to ensure accurate and equitable representation for all voters. We need to take redistricting out of the hands of political parties and put voters back in control. I would recommend that the board watch every single redistricting committee hearing and listen to every single person that put themselves on record and read every single submission now that we have the opportunity all of a sudden to submit information to the board to understand that equity is the key. Equity is the key to equal representation. We do not have a board that looks like the town of Hempstead, period, end of story. I'd like to back up Claudia and say major minority districts should be created. If we are going to sit here in the next couple of weeks and look at the Skyline map as the right way to move forward, it's the largest township in the United States, we are not representing the people of the town of Hempstead. We need to look deep inside. We need to make real changes, and we need to make sure that the voters are heard and that voters select their districts, not politicians select their voters. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming. I don't have any other slips on the administrative calendar. Does anybody wish to be heard administrative calendar that didn't sign in? Okay, may I please have a motion? May I please have a motion on the administrative calendar, Deputy Supervisor?
I move the administration calendar. Oh, I'm sorry. I
That's
move
okay.
the administration calendar from 1 through, when do we start? From 7 through 54.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Supervisor Clavin?
Aye.
Councilman Carini?
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby?
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller?
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella?
Aye.
Okay, may I please have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we Excuse me?
Oh, on the
What did she
administrative
say?
calendar?
Administrative calendar's finished, and we just moved it. If there's something that you want to speak to, I'm sure when we have it open, you could speak.
Yeah,
to it,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
You can make comments when we finish.
Ma'am, what was your name?
Oh,
Okay.
did you sign in?
Okay.
I don't know where it is.
I have you signed in for the public comment, not the administrative calendar. Oh, no problem. Okay, I just want to make sure. So, may I have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin?
Aye.
Councilman Carini?
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor
Aye.
Gooseby? Councilwoman Miller?
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella?
Aye.
Okay. We're going to take a 5-minute recess, and then we will open up the public comment section of the meeting. So why don't we say we're going to reconvene at 7:45? 7:45.